Python OS path, auth path functions have different purpose related to file path manipulation. OS path join. What is OS path join? Then what are the purposes of OS path join? Then combines one or more path component into a single path. One or component in a single path. Handle differently operating system path separator, then Windows, Unix, the other etc. In use case are the OS path for constructing file path in a way that is portable across different operating system. Next, OS path, EBS path explains convert expert EBS path purposes are relative path into a absolute path, resolving it based on current working directory. Use case of the EBS path useful for obtaining the full path to a file or directory, making it easier to work with path in a constant manner regardless of the current working directory. OS path join combines multiple path components into a single path. OS path is multiple path of component into a single path, and then EBS path is relative path to an absolute path, converts a relative path to an absolute path. Then next, OS path join is when the join path have building paths from component and OS path EBS path when you need absolute path of file or directory. Then the next 17th question is discuss the difference between for while loop and Python, for loop and while loop. The typically use cases. In Python, for and while loop are used to iterate over block of code, but they different they are different structures, usages and structures. Then for loop purposes are iterate over a sequence such as a list, tuple, string, or range and other etc. This executed the block of code for each item in the sequence. Then the for loop structure are designed through predefined sequence or iteratable. Then typically use this case when the for loop case when the number of iterations is known or when iterating over element collections. Then the for loop example is executing, here we can see the code for item in 1 2 3 4 print item. Then for loop so resolving the progress print the last print for the result. Then while loop. Next while loop. What is while loop? While loop repeats block of code as long as specified condition remains true. Specified condition remains true. Requires it is structure while loop structure are required a condition to be elevated before each iteration. The loop continues until the condition evaluated to a false. Then the typical case of while loops when the number of iteration is not known in advance and dependent on condition being met. Then example of while loop count 5 print count is execution we can see. For loop best for iterating over a sequence or range items. While loop best for sincerity where the number iterating is not predetermined and depend on the condition. And the for loop when you have specified set on range of items to iterate over the for loop. And then while loop when the loop need contain continue until a condition of change. Next question, describe 18th question. Describe the purposes of Python range function and it uses generate sequence of numbers. The range function in Python generated of as numbers commonly used into for loops for iterating it efficiently produces number without sorting them in memory. sorting them in memory. The function syntax is range, start, stop, steps, where start is being value inclusive, stop is end values exclusive, step difference between numbers. Then the examples of range 5 generate number from 0 to 4, range 2 7 generated number from 2 to 6, range 0 10 to, and then generates even number from 0 to 8. The range function helps can create loops with a specific sequence of integers, making it versatile for various iteration tasks. And the next 19th question, explain the concept of nested loop in Python and provide example of nested loop structure. Nested loop in Python involving placing one loop inside another loop, allowing for complex iteration pattern. The outer loop controls overall while the inner loop runs completely for the iteration outer loop. The nested loop, some of the loops are can we see grid printing, matrix iteration, pattern generation. These are all the example of nested loop. This is the output. Grid printing is the code of we can see for I range 3. Range 4 is the printing 0 0, then with the output, and then the matrix section is we have seen nested loop 1 2 3 matrix input variables we can write, and after for loop execution statement after printing we can output the matrix, then next pattern matrix pattern generation for the nested loop. We can see n is equal to 4 for I in range j, range function in included I plus 1, adding of values repeated and last, and then print after the pattern generation we can see. Next 20th question, discuss the significance of loop control statements such as a break, continuous and pass in Python. Break statement. What is break statement? Then the break statement exits the loop immediately regardless of loop, useful for terminating a loop early where a condition is met. Then the break statement we can see for I in range 10. If I is equal to 5, break print I. Then the execution we can see output 0 1 2 3 4. Then for the I is equal to 5, then is the execution process we have done after break statement is equal to 5, the break of the program. Then then continuous statement are skipping the remaining continuous statement are the skipping the remaining code in current iteration and processed without next iteration of the loop, useful for skipping specific value of a condition. For the continuous statement examples are for I in range 5, if I is equal to 3, continuous print I, then the reading remaining code iteration processed next iteration 0 1 2, here we can see 3 skip the programming we have output. Then next pass. What is pass? Pass is a placeholder that does nothing, and it used to ensure systematically corrections when no action is required. The example of pass for an I in range 3, if I is equal to 1 pass placeholder future code, then output 0 2 pass. And the statement helps controls the follows of looping, makes the code more flexible and manageable. The here we can see Here we can see break statement, continuous pass. All of this are used. These statements helps controls flow of loops, follow of loops, and code more flexible and manageable. We can easily code will be written. Then 21st question, describe the benefits of using list comprehensions over traditional loop construct in Python. List comprehension offers several advantages over traditional loops. Consistence, create list in a single line. Then Python X squaring the statement for X in range at the next readability more readable and expressive for list create Python. Even squares X squaring X in range 10. If X percent 00 squaring, then that performance generally faster due to optimize execution and reduce overheated Python. The num is equal to here the program we can see I4 in I in a range 1000, and then the filtering and the transformation, combining filtering and transformation in one line. Filtering and transformation in Python one line. Here then the program is we can see x square for x in range 10 if x greater than 5. List comprehensions make code more efficient, readable and concise. Next we will discuss about 52th question. Regular expression. Write a program to extract all words containing Python from a given text using regular expression. Here we can see regular expression find. Here input Python is a popular programming language. Pythonists love Python. Output Python. Pythonist Python. Here we can first a variable create a text, then equal the input return. Python is a popular programming language. Pythonists love Python. And after splitting the words, words is equal to text dot splitting. Then splitting convert lowercase and splitting into words. And after words containing Python, here words for this this is list comprehension that literally through each words in word list. Word lower converts each words to lower to ensure case insensitive manner. And Python in word dot lower here check if substring Python is presented into lowercase version of the word, and after printing matching underscore word, then we will get the output is Python, Pythonist, Python. Next we have discussed 59th question, list comprehension. Write a Python program using list comprehension to create a list even number of 1 to 20 but replacing multiple of 4 with 4. Then output 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, etc. So, here we can list comprehension. First one we can create a variable result is equal to an empty list creating result is equal to empty list. And next we can looping statement 1 to 20 looping for num in range 1 comma 21, and then after check if the number is even if num percentage 2 is equal to 0, and After check if the number is a multiple of 4. If num percentage 4 is equal to 0 percentage, and if multiple of 4, add 4 to result list result dot append 4. Here we can see append function using, and next is else otherwise, and the number itself to result list result dot append num. Here then last print result. Here we can get the output is 2, 4, 6, 4, 10, 4, 14, 18, 4.